Hello and welcome to today's video talking about watch bracelets. I've done a video for watch straps and bands. This is for bracelets, and because it is such a broad subject and inclusive of such a variety of materials, designs, I just thought it'd be better to separate these topics and do separate videos. Okay, so as you can see in front of us, we have a variety of watch brands. All of them have bracelets, but not all steel. This is a resin mix. This is a G-Shock square, and yeah, we'll get to that. But so this is the only one that is not metal, and then we have a variety of titanium in these two cases, and stainless steel in all other cases. But then there is design. So let's start off with construction design and what different choices we have out there on the market, and then we'll switch to the comfort of wearing them and function and value. So these are the topics we'll cover. Let's start off from the right here. G-Shock. This is actually one of the more complex bracelets because it is a combination. I mentioned that only one is not steel, but actually this is a hybrid. We could call it a hybrid because it has resin inside, and that is to increase comfort and wear because of the steel heat dissipation, or during cold weather, this will be more comfortable on the skin because it's resin and it does not transfer temperature as much as steel would. Also, it cuts down on weight, obviously, but well, that's not really true. They market it as such, but you still have this thickness of stainless steel section, which would be plenty enough and would suffice for a bracelet. So that's arguable whether this saves space. Anyway, this has H links and the middle links, so this would be two links, two sections. 1 and 2 here in the middle is one section, and then it goes on. This is actually a wide one. If you have a liking for large watches, I guess you could wear it on smaller wrists as well, but this is 25 almost, and here by the lugs it's 27 almost millimeters. So this is a wide bracelet. It has your basic micro adjustable clasp with 1, 2, 3, 4 holes. This is a comfortable bracelet, but it's not a light one. Maybe that is also due to the watch head being rather heavy, but it is comfortable. It has decent articulation, and that's the H. This design would be called an H link because of that section looking like an H. Then we have this would be called a 3 link, 1, 2, 3, or maybe even 5 if these polished edges were separate links. In this case, separate sections. In this case, they're not. They're just polished edges, and it is in fact one single link per. So if we look on the other side, it becomes evident it's just one link which is polished on the other side, on the exterior side. And this is a titanium construction, very light. We'll talk about comfort later, but this again would be called something like a 3-link steel or metal bracelet. Same goes for this, even though I've seen this also called as a senator style bracelet. This is another choice by Proxima. This actually was Tokay Lab. So, and we have one of my favorites, because it is the most comfortable bracelet that I have out of my entire collection, because of this infinite articulation here, basically. And this is even better than a Milanese bracelet, which we can get to now. After the beads of rice, obviously. Yeah, so this can have different polishing. It can be all matte finished in this case, if the camera will focus. This is brushed on the sides and polished for the beads section, and a very, very comfortable one. This is by San Martin. And the next one being the Ixendao, which I'm also wearing on the Ixendao Serica 5303, if I remember correctly, homage. In this case, I just polished this middle link, and it complements nicely to the lug chamfered polished edges, but the original comes brushed, as you can see here. And this is another very, very comfortable option, a Milanese bracelet. Here we have another example of it, because it just follows and contours to your wrist very nicely. So that's a Milanese style bracelet. I don't know what this is called, but it's another titanium bracelet from Zilos. And it also is very nice, and again the reason is articulation. So it has very short links. This would be another 3-link bracelet, I guess, and you could call it, I don't know, square design, etc. Very comfortable though. On the inside and outside it has chamfers larger on the outside, and it just has nice rounded off edges, so nothing catches on. Obviously it's a Zilos, it's a nice brand. Yeah, I guess we covered them all. Yeah, this is another Citizen, about a 25-year-old watch, Eco Drive, no issues, no problems. It had a non-sapphire, but the organic type of crystal, which got scratched up, and I changed it to a sapphire purchased off of AliExpress actually. But it works quite well. It has AR, not great AR, but made the dial way more visible. Anyway, this is another steel bracelet, which surprisingly, despite its weight, heft, which is not too much, but it's not a thin one. For example, this Tokay Lab, if we look at the links, is significantly thinner than in this case, but very comfortable, very comfortable. Again, 3-link, could be 5-link if these polished sides here were actually side plates put on and pressed, but they're not. Again, they're polished, and from the back we can see that it is actually 2 pieces pressed together. So this middle piece is pressed onto the side pieces there. Anyway, that's not very informative. That just went over different designs, and different names for them, I guess. But now I want to discuss comfort, and that's what's for me most important. Comfort and function. So as I said, the most comfortable ones would be the beads of rice, and articulation is the key. The more it articulates, the easier it conforms around your shapes. It has to be build quality, obviously, has to follow. I mean, it could be very articulate, but if it has sharp edges, or what a lot of people complain about also is pulling hairs from wrists, and I can't really advise you on that, because that's a thing where you have to try it on and see in real life. But articulation is key. So in this case, these beads of rice from San Martin is the most comfortable one that I have. The next one is actually these styles. This is a Proxima, again, very good articulation, but the thing about this is it is curved, it is pre-curved. So each link, they're not flat, in which case can I say on the bottom. Even these guys are curved, you know, these beads of rice, you see that slight curve, and that helps form an oval shape. Let's see how it just flows around. On this Citizen, it is even more pronounced, these curves, so they're not flat. Unfortunately, on my favorite Proxima, that titanium, but the stainless steel versions are exactly the same shape. This is just the material is different, but if you can see, the bottom is flat, and that's not a very good design choice. I would have much preferred to have something like this, because when you wear these corners kind of stick out, and I had to actually disassemble this entire bracelet because I'm OCD, and I rounded off these corners on all of the links. Otherwise, I just didn't like how the corners were sticking out. Here I'm putting it on to demonstrate, because the links are very long. This watch, the Marine Masters 300 original, who's the original design is coming from, is known for these long links. It's surprising, but it has its advantages, and that advantage comes from the fact that it's flat. Oh, well, it would be better if it was contoured, but what I mean by flat is actually not flat, a single link. There is nowhere for hair to go into, or pressure points are absent, because it is so wide. Again, it would have been even better if it were contoured, and I'll try to demonstrate why. You see these corners, right? For me, it's difficult to form an oval without having corners, right? That's clear to see. That is not the case with this Citizen, for example. Very easy to form an oval, you see? Easier because of the contours. And same goes for the Proxima. And obviously the links are shorter too, so it's easier to form it compared to the longer links. But you know, there's give and take, pros and cons. Again, as I said, this is one of the most comfortable bracelets. Seiko is known, they're legendary in making bracelets and large watches, wear smaller and more comfortable than expected, just in general. So it's not surprising from that standpoint, I guess. The function, what I could say is, there is obviously dress watches, there is dive watches, and classic watches, etc. Steel bracelets are mostly used for dive watches, but there are some sports watches and classic watches as well, obviously, that use them. But I'm mostly into dive watches, so the bracelets that I have tend to be on the larger side. But they don't have to be bulky, and I try to avoid bulky. I've had my mistakes. I've purchased some bulky bracelets that are just too much in weight, and I haven't enjoyed wearing them. I've even thrown some out in the trash. That's a waste of money. So in terms of function, there is titanium, stainless steel, and protective coatings. None of my watches, unfortunately, have any protective coatings. Now they're not as difficult to access in terms of price range. San Martin again has some models, hopefully brands like Proxima and others on AliExpress will soon start applying these protective coatings. They're very nice. I've had some nice watch cases scratch up really badly. My favorite one, this Proxima, has a lot of scratches. None of them that I consider very deep, but plenty deep to give it character. But none of it loses function, of course. It just, rough use titanium watch. I would have loved this to have some sort of protective coating that increases. It's not scratch proof, but it increases. So if in terms of function, if you need a watch that is comparatively light, you should go with a titanium construction, and that would apply not only to the bracelet but the watch itself. In terms of construction and design, there's one very, very, very important thing that I missed to mention, and that is the lugs of the watch and the construction itself in terms of solid link versus pressed links. Unfortunately, I don't have examples of pressed links, but they're usually the cheaper or older construction types. There is plenty of very, very expensive watch brands and watch designs that have used pressed links in the past, but currently the chic and fashion, and my personal preference as well, is to go with a solid construction, so solid links as well as solid end links. And end links is a very important part of the watch design. So I'll try to demonstrate. The end links, you have curved end links that fill up the entire watch lugs, the space between the lugs, and they follow the curve. So this is so-called a very proprietary to the watch type of bracelet, and would not work on others. Then you have something like this. Flat end links that would have, as you can see, a gap that is visible. That can be smaller or larger depending on the design of the watch, but there is a visible gap in between. Plenty of articulation, and there is an argument that this is actually more comfortable than a fixed lug, because these type of lugs are fixed, they do not articulate. But then you have the female end links, which is a comparatively new development in budget watches and accessible watches. There's been some designs prior, but not so widespread, but now it's a thing to have female end links in terms of increasing comfort, and then that matches the same comfort as this type of flat end links, fully articulating, but adds the feature of covering all of the gaps and space between the lugs. So you have a variety of that. This is a male end link because the middle section does not articulate, but again, Seiko design, obviously, very comfortable still, but not on very small wrists, so you do have to have a certain size of wrist for that. But this is male link. This is another example. Both of my titanium watches are male links, and it's disappointing. Zilos did come out with the next generation of swordfish, which were around $300 on the site, and that had a female end link, and I was hoping that they would come out, Elshan would come out with a titanium design with again a female end link for the swordfish, but he didn't. And even the later models, this is the very first titanium that he came out with. I love this watch. Even the recent ones, I think he came out a total of 3 times titanium 40mm swordfishes. All of them he kept male end links, and I wonder why. I don't know. And then it's also quite important what the pins are, because you could have quick, no tools, accessible ones, or you could have something like this. Again, this is the San Martin, but beads of rice, which has a flat end link, and then you would need to use a tool to put that in the watch, put it in and out of the lugs. So in terms of function, if you're into marine military fields, you might want to spend a bit more and go for the titanium route. Usually titanium is about 20 to 30% more in cost, could be even more. If you're into military, you can go G-Shock, obviously. This is a tank. You would need a grenade to do some damage to that type of watch and bracelet. And lastly, what I want to discuss is value. I've been a watch enthusiast for over 25 years now, and I've had cheaper watches, mid-range and luxury watches. Not too many on the luxury side, but I've experienced a variety of bracelets, and what I can say is for bracelets, you get what you pay for. You cannot cheap out on them. Usually a watchmaker, a brand, spends more money on the watch itself than the bracelet. And for a bracelet to be proper and good, it has to cost a decent amount, not expensive, not at all, because none of these are expensive. The Saint Martin, which is one of the best bracelets, and this is, by the way, not their clasp, this is from the Tokay Lab, which I've switched. Saint Martin has this beautiful on-the-fly adjustable clasp, and I'll do a separate video on the clasps, because that again is another subject, and this will just take an hour, so I'm already into 25th minute by now, and I need to try to keep it short. You get what you pay for in terms of value, so don't try to cheap out and expect a decent bracelet for $12 off of Amazon, because you just will not get it. Again, so this regular price on the Saint Martin is about $70. You can get it for about $50, $45, maybe no, $50 during sales. And the Xendao bracelet, is, I guess that's just for example, because this is proprietary, you can't put it on just any other watch. This is for the Xendel Serica homage specifically. But that's $55 and maybe slightly less during sales. So you need to spend at least $40 to $50 to get a decent bracelet, and then quality just increases from there on. But there are some very good options. The thing is, if you have a curved lug design on your watch instead of something like this, for example, again a Seiko 62 Mas homage design, which has somewhat of flat lugs and needs flat end links. And this is a very cool design because the original actually has a male end link, and the Tokay Lab the bracelet has the female end link, which makes it way more comfortable than the Seiko design, for my wrist at least. I guess if you have a wrist larger than 7.5, 8 inches, maybe it's okay. But I always do prefer female end links. Okay, so Tokay Lab, for another example, was $70, and it just came with this simple bracelet buckle. Not simple actually, it's a nice one, but it's the micro adjust holes, not on the fly adjust, whereas the Saint Martin, for the same price or even cheaper, came with this extremely beautiful, well polished bits of rice bracelet and the on the fly adjust clasp, which alone costs about $45 on AliExpress, and that's a steal because this is a really good bracelet, could have cost even more. So expect to pay $50 and above for a decent bracelet. Try to avoid curved end links unless the bracelet is made for your specific watch. And pay attention to the articulation and comfort level and finishing as well of your bracelet. The rest is question of taste, and it's a personal preference, so you make your own choice. As I said, this is a very comfortable bracelet. This is the most comfortable bracelet, but I love this one as well, and I barely feel it when I wear it on my watch, on my wrist during the whole day, during sleep. Beautiful and very long end links, surprising. So it comes down to the finishing, and in this case the weight and finishing, and the fact that it just doesn't have anywhere for hair to catch on. But yeah, these are some of the choices out there, and pay attention to what you buy. Try to go with quality, especially when dealing with watches. Hope you enjoy what you get. Your choices turn out to be good, and thank you for watching. If you like the content, please subscribe, like the video, and in the near future I will upload a video for the clasps and what the varieties are. I'll also mention where to get them. Cheers, have a good one. Thank you.